These were the opening moves of Fabi versus Ali. Yes, we've got ourselves a brand new Super GM chess tournament. I'm not covering a Magnus game today. I've got withdrawal symptoms, shaky hands, because we're going in on the Superbet Classic. This is Caruana, world number 2, playing black. These are the most common moves on the board, but guess what? He doesn't play any of them. He channels his inner Magnus Carlsen and plays pawn to b6. What is that? Moving a little pawn over there, not fighting for the centre. Is he preparing to fianchetto the knight? We'll soon find out. This is over the board, long time control, serious chess. Now we get pawn c4 from Alireza Firouzja. It's explosive, but London fans everywhere groan. Don't you know you're supposed to set up the pawn triangle, the party hat? What an amateur player. Now we get bishop b7. Sanity prevails, the bishop goes there, not the knight. It hits the long Milky Way diagonal, and after knight c3 it just gets better from Fabiano Caruana. Does he push the e pawn or the g pawn? Prepare to get this little guy out. No, he goes pawn d6, we get knight f3, and now he finally decides to go pawn g6. But that's a lot of pawn moves. These are the best players in the world, playing in an interesting way here, goading Alireza to take that space, but he opens up now the chocolate slide. This long diagonal, a1 to h8, bishop g7 played, and Fabi completes the double banana hammock. The bishop's crossing swords. Alireza goes e4, sets up the old camel toe pawn formation, one of our favourites here on Epic Cheese. If you're not yet subscribed, do consider become a grandmaster in less than 10 days. Results may vary, and after castles we get bishop d3. Alireza with the diamond hands there. Is he going to hold on to the centre though? Who knows? Fabi now could go pawn e6. That's the classic way to undermine, but again he doesn't do it. He plays pawn to e5 here. These are really committal pawn moves. Bishop g5, the favourite move of Stock Squid, but we see bishop d2, stacking the bishops and queen. That is some diagonal laser power. They look like rowers in a boat, headed in one direction, and now it just gets better from Fabi, honestly. I've never seen him play like this. Who is this guy? He pushes on with pawn to a5. If you don't want to set up the party hat, Alireza, I'll do it for you. Look at the dark squared pawns, and after a3, b4, Alireza can push that b pawn. Fabi goes a6. The knight interrupts with all his matter of truth, maybe headed for c5, so the bishop drops back preemptively, and now honestly Fabi's just getting trigger happy with these pawns. He's like, you know what, I'm fed up of being Robin, I want to be Batman. He pushes on with c5. No more draws for Fabiano Caruana. He wants blood. We see bishop g5. Why didn't Alireza go there straight away? Who knows, right? But he's now got a great position. He's got all this space, and it just continues. h6 played, hitting the bishop. It drops back. Great commentary here on Epic Chess. Now we see knight c7 re-entering the game. And after pawn h3, covering g4, there's also an aggressive intention in mind, because Fabi now starts to rearrange his pieces with bishop c8. Love that move. He's got a sneaky intention in mind. That one was biting on granite. And now after queen d2, pressuring h6, the king covers. That pawn defended, and g4. Gary the debt collector making his way down the board. Look at the space that Alireza's got. Captain Picard would be proud. And rook b8. b5 coming to a cinema near you soon. Why not go pawn a4? Well, then you weaken b4 and the knight hops back to a6 and in here. But it is the preferred move here of Stockwell, not played. Instead we get g5. Alireza looking to use that knight and pawn as a hook to open up that king. So Fabi takes, knight recaptures with check, the preferred move, but only so you pick up a tempo to then go a4. The computer really really wants to allow this plan. So what if you take my bishop? It's a bad bishop, but not played. We get bishop g5 and b5 is achieved. The two kings are like, you know what, may the best man win. We've got a battle on our hands, attacking on opposite flanks. We love it in a game of chess. And h4 from Alireza. He lets out a low growl, but Fabi does one right back after bishop g4. He hits the knight and covers the light squared complex. Are you really going to go h5? Give me that pawn. Alireza starts with bishop to d1, covers his undefended knight there, and now queen d7 lends support to the bishop and breaks the pin. So the knight on f6 is now free to blockade. One of the top engine lines is giving up this bishop just to then achieve this h5 stuff. Different game. Knight g5 check, then also possible, but not played. We see h5, very, very direct, but also logical. You've got a cannon here. Let's let it blast. The knight captures, and now knight h4, and all the army is massing around the black king. But Fabi, cool as a cucumber, takes on d1, queen recaptures and comes up with a star defensive move. There's one move and one move only to rule them all in this position. Can you find it? The best way to play defensively. Rare that you get these kind of puzzles. Well, the way to go is rook h8. Well done if that one came to you. You challenge the only deadly attacking file and you preempt this move, knight f5. There's a nice one to play. That one's looming over the ramparts, very deadly. So pawn captures was played, wasn't forced. f6 also possible, different game, but that piece captured. Alireza takes right back, but king g8. And because you put the rook here, you're just in time to defend things. The queen has to come back, cover the rook on h1. We see an exchange, queen recaptures, and now how about this for an unraveling? What does Fabi do? He pushes pawn f6, nudges back the bishop, and it just carries on. Before Alireza has time to breathe, it's absolute Prawnageddon. These ones marching down the board. Knight e2 and f4. Look at the domination of the position and every pawn on a dark square. Fabi wins 10 points for Hufflepuff. He's a happy man, wins a cinema voucher for 2 as well. Very good. He's not going home empty-handed regardless. And after knight g1, spinning around to f3, we now get queen g4. Out of nowhere, who is attacking whom? Fabi just flipping the game on its head. He's like Alireza's bogeyman. And now the best engine way to go is with pawn f3. It likes that blockading motif. But Alireza wants queen f3. If he does it straight away though, his knight drops. So the king comes to f1, says to the knight, I got you bro. Now we see rook a8. The cannons leave the board. There's one ugly knight in the corner. Again f3 preferred, but Alireza carries on with his plan. They're low on time at this point, and he completely underestimates pawn to f5. Such a strong move. If you take the queens, the pawns connect. What's the best way to go? Well, captures here, but then queen recaptures, and it's still very dangerous. The pawns are rolling. Imagine this knight, doing all sorts of maneuvers round to g6, supporting pawns, maybe hopping, etc. These ones, meanwhile, are not having fun. We come back because captures on f5, not played. We see takes here. The pawns are connected and an iron curtain has descended on Alireza's king and minor pieces. Fabi now proceeds to turn the screw because after pawn to f3, he could go g3, but it's not actually best. He's better to keep his options open. Knight b6, great move. Hit c4. You do have to cover that. It's too much of an important pawn. So b3 played, and now knight d7, more great chess. You take on g4, I go knight f6, hit 2 pawns, doing well. So here Alireza goes bishop e1, looking to maneuver, goading g3, but again, not the right plan. Fabi takes correctly, knight recaptures, knight f6, hitting the central pawn, and this knight forced to stumble back, meekly cover. King f7 played, king g2, knight g4, headed for the octopus outpost. Why not go bishop f2, cover that one? Well, it's playable. Different line. Then the black king gets super active, and there's still plans to try and squeeze the position. Black in the driver's seat. So here Alireza goes king f3, allows the knight to hop. What an octopus. Kasparov would be proud. Bishop f2 now played, but Fabi sees it. He dissaves the knight here. Into c2. Is he headed for the juicy d4 square, or even a1? King g4. King g6. Full Gandalf mode. You shall not pass this bridge of Khazad-dûm. Knight f3 played, but it comes stumbling all the way back after knight to a1. Look at where this knight came from. It's on a8. Now it's on a1. What a journey. Full Bilbo Baggins over here. And if you check the king with the white knight here, drive it back to f7, well, so what? You can't then get back in time to cover the pawn. So knight d2 is forced. Alireza in a bind. Now bishop f6, and Fabi just does this amazing dance here. Sets up a Zugzwang. That's a German word we use in chess. No idea why. These words come from all over the world, right? Checkmate, I think, comes from Old Persian, shakmate. But we reach this position here, and white can barely make a move that doesn't make the position worse. The point is, you want to go f3, as we're going to see, and open up the bishop on the knight, which is defending the pawn. Well, okay, what if the king blockades, doesn't allow it? Well, then the black king, whoops, didn't have this line ready, thought I did. I think I had it ready on the next move. Then the black king steps in. This is the point. Suddenly you've made ground. And the themes carry on like this. I can't remember if you do want to trade the bishops at some point, if given the chance, maybe not. But oftentimes the white king has to move because it runs out of moves. Many different Zugzwangs. Very beautiful. But instead, we see bishop h4 going for counterplay against the base of the pawn chain, and now f3 comes. The knight attacked. It gobbles the pawn, but this b3 pawn now not long for this world. First we get king f7, covering the bishop move. Great play, because still you can't go knight d2 now. Drops off the board. So instead we see bishop g3. What's Alireza setting up? Well, after knight takes on b3, we see it. No longer does Alireza want to sit and meekly defend, this past b pawn, and deadly distraction now, because if you try and cover it, the king then marches in. e4 could be weak. So instead, we get the kamikaze of bishop takes on e5. Pawn recaptures, knight takes with check. Now king e7, knight d3, bishop e3, covers this one here, prepares to move this knight. Alireza gets the pawns rumbling, and after knight d2, going after the base, we see resignation from Firouzja. Why? Well, sure, you can check, but the king steps in. Or sure, you could go king f5, preparing this, but b3 comes. It's all just way too fast for black. This one's dropping. The king blockades these pawns fine. The minor pieces can always help. There's nothing left to play for at this level of chess. What a win by Fabi. What a style of play from him. Alireza struggling. Fabi his bogeyman. Smash subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the video on screen for another epic game of chess. Cheers.